What up, reader fam? Today I'm bringing you a bit of a rebellious video as I'm going to be sharing my rebellious opinions on the young adult book category as a whole. I'm going to be going over things that I want to see change, things that I want to see more of, and just some of my rebellious takes on YA as a whole. Today's video is being sponsored by Disney Book Group and is inspired by the recent release of Rebellious by Emma Terrio. This is the first book in a series that I'm really excited about, and it's called the Queen's Council series. And what it is basically a reimagining of Disney princesses as young rulers coming into power. Like, hello, if you're gonna give me a reimagining, give me one like this. I have signed my name on the dotted line. I am sold. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. Now, I know that I've been all womp 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 about fairy tale retellings lately. Like, I've literally been out here trying my best to avoid fairy tale retellings, and then somehow they keep ending up in my hands, and I read them, and I become trash for them. What is wrong with me? I need help. ASAP. But this one just sounds dope because of the position switch. Switching up positions with you. Get that grande out my head. But anyway, Disney princesses coming into power come through. They're all aided by a mysterious force that weaves its way through with their individual stories. So in this book, we see Belle, that fellow bookworm. Hey, I see you, girl, and she's stepping into the position of power in her queen duties. We see her as she's basically just trying to balance her new life, her queen duties, her love life, and also just all that comes with being thrown into this like political atmosphere. So I'm really excited about this because of the fact that it's not just a fairy tale retelling, it's almost like a continued reimagining of Belle's story. And that's because it takes place after Belle has broken the Enchantress's curse and has restored the beast into his human form. We see Belle in this new position, one that we've never seen her in before, and that's a leadership role and just following her as she's tackling it all. And on top of that, she's kind of stumbled her way into some ancient magic that just brings on more madness into her life. So knowing all of that, I feel like this is going to be super fresh. Less of a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, but more of a reimagining of what Belle would look like as a queen. Even though I already saw her as a queen, because anybody who's a reader is a queen or a king in my book. I'm here for it. I've arrived at the book party and I'm ready to party it up. And by party it up, I mean read it up. I feel like this is a really nice season to read kind of a fairy tale-esque book anyway. I weirdly associate like a cozy feeling to fairy tales, and I feel like that's because they're just so familiar. And it's the season of me wanting to be in bed all the time, cozied up with a book in one hand and coffee in the other hand, all good to go. I feel like none of that just made sense, but you get the picture. Rebellious is in stores now, and if you're interested in checking it out, I will leave more information for you down below in the description. So today, inspired by this book, I'm going to be dropping all my rebellious takes on the young adult book category as a whole. Now, I know that a lot of the things that I'm going to be going over in this video might contradict things that I've said in the past, but these thoughts that I'm going to share with you are how I feel in this moment. People often compare what I say in the past to what I say now, which I get, I understand, but also, hello, I am an evolving human. I change my opinion all the time. My opinions love a good flip-flop. So without further ado, let's get into it. I need more books about lonely characters. This one might more so be that there are books out there like this, but I want more books about lonely characters. I need more characters that fall into the lonely club. Stories that have an emphasis on it being okay to have moments in your life where you don't have anybody to lean on. Because I know that there are people who go through lonely periods of life who are used to being surrounded by people, go into panic mode when they are left alone. And I need y'all to know it's gonna be alright. And you know what would help reassure you with that? More books about this loneliness situation. I know for a fact that everyone can relate to it because we all have that moment in life, or we're all going through that moment in life where we don't have anybody to lean on, or we do have people that we can lean on. We've just convinced ourselves that we can't reach out to those people because we've got that voice in our head that's like, nobody likes you. Everybody hates you. You're the worst. I know that there are a lot of books out there that do focus on lonely characters who end up finding friendships and whatnot, but I want more self-exploration stories where the main character really struggles to form relationships, continues to struggle, and in the process learns more about themselves. I know it might be a difficult plot to keep engaging, a bit difficult to suction the reader eyeballs to the page, but I just feel like it's mega relatable and I need more and more and more and more and more. Let's stop getting rid of parents. I'm tired of parents being erased from YA books and having no presence. Like, did all the parents in young adult books call each other up and be like, hey, let's ditch the kids, meet up on a deserted island, and create a utopia for ourselves? Wait, can somebody make that into a book? I'd read it. While I know it's difficult to kind of work the parents in, I don't think that they should be worked out. I just feel like the parental relationship can add quite a bit to the story in terms of seeing why our characters act the way that they do, or why they believe certain things, because the parental relationship is such an influential one, which obviously y'all already know that. I don't even need to say that to you. You know it. It ain't no surprise. We need more slow-paced books. Yeah, I said it and I ain't gonna take it back. back. It flew out my mouth and into your ears. Slow pacing is great. I've definitely hated slower paced books in the past because of the fact that they moved in slow motion, and I used to convince myself that slow meant boring. And when I tell y'all that I've backed out of that opinion, I've full on backed out. And I've grown out of this idea that a slow book equals a boring book, because it don't. A slow paced book is not a boring book. We've just gotten so used to fast paced media. Y'all can't even deny that. You know it's the truth. I know some of y'all be on the TikToks till 2 in the morning scrolling like there's no tomorrow, and by y'all I mean me. It's me. I am on the TikToks until 2 in the morning. It's bad. I will say that I feel like this kind of does have to do with the type of story that I'm reading. For example, I'm not huge on fantasy books being slower paced because I want that action-packed, fast-paced story to come through and give me whiplash. Whippity lash lash, whippity lash lash, with a magic system that has me rushing to gobble it up. But there's also something kind of magical about a story that just kind of moves at its own pace. Not every book needs to be a whirlwind of a story to be good. Some stories can just be chill and vibe their ways to their finales with a plot that might not have a lot happening. I can't stand chat speak in books. There is just something about this that does not translate well for me. Mind you, I've read books with chat speak in it that I've loved. Like the Illuminate trilogy, they did that. Showed up and showed all the other books how it's supposed to be done. Take note, all you bookie wookies, this is how it's done. It always just feels like it's trying too hard to be relatable, and in doing so, it loses its relatability. Because to me, it also just never feels like an actual conversation that's going down. It's like the author just googled some chat speak words, chucked it in the book, and said that'll do. When in fact that'll not do. I think it gets even worse when they try to make up their own chat speak. Like the text chat dialogue will be like, OMG, we CSing. OMG, I love when we CS. And you're reading that going, what the heck does CS mean? And it's revealed that it means chat speaking. No one uses that. Also, it's cringe. Make it stop. Backtrack. Reverse. Delete. 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 Not every YA book needs a romance. Y'all knew this was coming. You had to have known. I'm honestly at a point where I just pretend I do not see it when I'm reading a YA book because I'm tired of them. I'm tired of how similar they all feel and how cringe they are. I'm not saying this is the case with every single one. There is the rare occasion where I'm like, that was a breath of fresh air. Heck, I even read a book with insta-love this year and I loved it. Who am I? I need to look in the mirror and make sure I'm doing okay. We good? You good, bro? You good? It was this book right here, BT dubs, All the Things We Never Knew. But the amount of books I've read where it would have been fine without the romance is hefty. Like, it is a hefty amount. And I think I really wouldn't mind if the romances stayed as a subplot. But what ends up happening is that it's a subplot that ends up smothering the book. And I just find myself checking out real quick, pretending I do not see it. Next up, where are all my dragons at? There is a major lack of books about dragons in YA, and I'm upset about it. I'm mad. M-A-D. Mad. I know how to spell. Middle grade books have a plethora of them. The adult fantasy world is popping with them, and young adult is... crickets. Where are all my dragons at? Dragons have yet to have their time. We've had the vamps, we've had the werewolves, we've had the fae. When are dragons gonna have their moment? I'm ready for it. I know there have been a few dragon-focused books, but none of them really did the dang thing. I need the dragons to come through and set a fire off that leads to more dragon books. Like, come through and take over the bestsellers list. I'm waiting, TikTok on the clock. Next, I'm tired of the whole, this book follows a strong female lead. This book follows a strong male lead. Where are my weaklings at? My fellow anxious folk. My crew that struggles their way through life. I might be wording this wrong because I don't mind having strong female leads or strong male leads. Like, obviously, we need that. But where are my weaklings at? Where are my softies who are scared out of their mind to fight the bad dudes? Where are my social anxiety peeps who are put into positions of power and struggle to communicate with the people around them? I know that a lot of the books that do have kind of that strong lead as the selling point do showcase the weak sides of these strong characters, so maybe I'm just tired of books being described in that way where it's like, this book has a strong female lead, this book has a strong male lead. I think it's just gotten to the point where it's a bit overused. I doubt a book will ever have the selling point of follows a weak character. Like, no, not happening. I know this is much more of a bigger conversation too, because like I said, I know that we do see the weak sides of strong characters when we have those strong leads. But I'm just tired of books being described with, it follows a strong lead. Like, we get it, they're strong, so is every other leading YA character supposedly. I don't think that this is a rebellious take, but I'm going to mention it anyway. I think that having book comparisons in descriptions can be majorly misleading. It'll be something like, this book is like The Six of Crows meets The Hunger Games. And what that does is sets unrealistic expectations on these books that usually are nothing like the books they are being compared to. And because of that, they end up getting bad reviews or are poorly rated on things like Goodreads. And the thing that people will say is wrong with that book is that they were told it was like this book and that book, and then they read it and it was nothing like this book and that book. And they end up being disappointed. Can you tell that this really does bother me? But the thing is, I get it. I get why they do it. Of course they want to intrigue other audiences of other books to pick up this book and try it out. But I feel like more times than not, it's met with disappointment. And it ends up backfiring and the book is pooped on for a not so great reason. It's not the tropes I hate, but how they're executed. I said what I said. Maybe insta-love isn't that bad, but we've just seen it be done the same way over and over again that we're over it. Maybe love triangles aren't the worst. It's just been executed in such a similar way that we're tired of it. Except for the I'm not like other girls trope, she can see her way out. So I guess it just really depends on the trope. I think romances would be better if they weren't heavily hinted at right off the bat. This is not even in regards to YA, but in all books. This might be the biggest reason as to why I don't enjoy the relationship aspect in a book 9 out of 10 times. And why I keep getting in here on these videos and being like, y'all, this romance ain't it. We automatically know who's gonna end up with who from the start. There's no build up, no tension building, no guess who as to who could end up with who. It's an eye lock and an instant and constant feeling of love running through them at first sight. And it's just too much, too much. Give me that slow burn or don't give me a burn at all. Did that make sense? Sure. I want more fantasy books where there's not a war brewing. This one is not specific to only YA either, like it's just kind of the fantasy genre as a whole. Why does there always have to be a war that we're leading up to? Why can't we just have some kind of fun-filled adventure in a magical world without a war? Is that too much to ask for? Now I know that there are books out there that do exist like that, but I just feel like the war element is so overused, so overdone, and it just kind of overshadows all the other little soft, adventure-y fantasy stories. Like, why can't we have more books like the Studio Ghibli movies where there's not really ever a war element, but they're still fascinating stories and they're wonderful and magical and just great? I need more books like that. I feel like it'd be nice to have characters that aren't focused on a creative field. I feel like a lot of characters in young adult books, specifically in the YA contemporary category, have a focus on a character wanting to do something in the creative field, which isn't a bad thing, but I feel like it would be a breath of fresh air to see a character going down a different path. Like, where are all my future doctors at? What about a character who wants to be a lawyer? Or a character who wants to be a politician of some sort? I just feel like we're all the time getting characters who are artists or musicians or writers. And it would be nice to get some new perspectives, a bit of variety. I say all this and yet the book that I've been writing focuses on a character that's in the creative field. So yes, this is a self-attack. Okay, last rebellious take, and that is the fact that I feel like we need to get rid of the book title format that's like the blank of blank and blank and blank of blank and blank. Like, just, we need to stop. We've gone too far with it. It's gotten to the point where the titles are not making any sense, or they just don't feel that great rolling off the tongue. They've become full-on tongue twisters. For example, A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Darker Shade of Magic, A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I don't even know where this trend began, but I need it to end because I'm over it. Alright guys, that's it for my rebellious takes. I could honestly do a part 2 video with just my own opinions, but I'm actually going to be doing a part 2 where I react to your rebellious takes. I had you guys submit your rebellious takes on Instagram and I will be reacting to those in another video coming up soon. But for now, I want to hear from you guys down below in the comments. Did you agree with any of these or did you disagree with any of these? I love hearing your opinions, even if we don't agree on something, so be sure to drop them down below in the comments. That's it for this video though. Again, thank you to Disney Book Group for sponsoring this video, and again, you can check out Rebel Rose in stores now. If you like this video, be sure to go and hit that like button. If you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and hit that bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is bright, that tomorrow is brighter. Keep reading what your heart desires, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye-oh. Whippity lash lash, whippity lash lash, whippity lash lash, whippity lash lash. Ooh. Dizzy, 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 dizzy. Where are my social anxiety poops? Where are my peeps? Not poops. Social anxiety poops.